So we rolling?
Yeah, we are. Oh God, these headphones are terrible.
Oh, they look tiny. They look really tiny compared to the other ones. Really tiny headphones.
They're too big. They slide down and they sound muffled. They sound muffled. Muff.
So,
muff.
I don't want to hear the word. I don't want to hear the word muff. No.
Moist muff.
No.
Moist muff.
No. Stop. Whoa.
Muffled.
Whoa. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
I'm muffled. God, it's terrible. It's like I want to crank the volume. Crank up the volume.
Pump up volume. Dance. Do.
Do you know Milli Vanilli said they got screwed?
How so?
They said that they didn't realize that everything was going to be dubbed. But they were the ones doing the dubbing. There's a documentary that's...
I would not.
There's a documentary.
Please don't make me watch that for the podcast. I don't want to watch Milli Vanilli ever. I had no time for them in the back in the way back, the 90s or whatever.
Or whatever.
Where were they? Were they in the 90s?
Yeah,
or was it
90s.
Like 1989 or something like that?
Yeah, no,
which I think 1989 is kind of absorbed into the 90s.
1989 is a lot more like 1990 than 1980.
Yeah, it sure is. I think so.
Oh my God, this is muff.
No, stop. Let's transition out of that and into the 90s. We've recently experienced a major loss.
We have?
Yeah, Friends actor Chandler died.
Friends actor?
Friends, Chandler, Matthew Perry.
Oh, Friends actor. See, it's these fucking...
We got an issue here, folks. Got an issue with our headphones.
These things suck. You know, I might just...
They didn't even look good on you either. They look terrible.
I'm getting the road.
All right, are we pausing? John, I was thinking maybe we should go see the Eras tour for this podcast.
The what?
Taylor Swift Eras tour.
Eras.
I just thought that would get a bigger laugh out of you.
Oh, this is much better. Well, it's still shitty, but better. Oh.
All right. Are we happy now?
I was going to say Goodnight Yellow Brick Road, and then I'm like, oh, that's right. There's a new Beatles song.
So, I just wanna open with this, since you didn't really want to talk about the death of Matthew Perry, which is fine.
I was in the middle of a fucking headphone crisis.
It was a crisis.
Here. I had to get a second. You want to talk about Matthew Perry? I don't care. I don't want you saying that I'm bad mouthing the dead, because I don't care.
I just want to stay. We started with the 90s. We went the Wayback Machine, went to the 90s, and that was kind of a 90s thing. Friends. So.
Oh, before you start.
We started like 20 minutes ago.
Before you start, because of my new editing technique.
Yeah.
If there's ever anything you want cut, I need you to say hot banana.
Is that our safe word?
That's our safe word. Hot banana.
Okay,
hot banana. So if we ever get into something somewhere and you're like, okay, this shit has got to get out of here, then you say hot banana, because then I can search for the words hot banana.
Right, we're gonna look. So every time I say hot banana, now you're gonna cut it because that's our cue, or are we just like we're just like all meta about hot banana right now?
Oh, first of all, I don't think you've ever said hot banana.
I don't think I know. I haven't.
And the point is, then I can just search through the transcript for hot banana, and then I know that in that area was something that we wanted to cut.
Okay, got it. I got it.
My new advanced AI editing.
Jeez.
Which I've got something to talk about that on that too. But we'll rewind back to the 90s.
Let's talk.
And talk about what's his name.
So I'm
from
horrified.
From that show that nobody watched.
I'm horrified to know this about myself, that his death didn't impact me. Like some people have popped up and their deaths have really impacted me because they were, a beloved actor that I watched, have strong childhood memories about, or they were just an icon. And I hate to say it, but his death just kind of was like, oh, well, he's dead. It was a weird
I was waiting
situation
for it.
because
I was waiting for it
because of his lifestyle choices.
because he's been a fucking addict every time, since we've known him.
But the sad thing is he had come out of it. It sounded like he had successfully come out of it.
He'd gone to resident, I was going to say therapy, but that's not it. He'd gone in for detox and whatnot like 60 times.
Oh my! I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not belittling the.
No, I'm just stating facts.
It's a sad, yes, just stating fact. It's a sad fucking situation that transpired.
So if they release,
and I think that an individual goes through that, right? Oh, what kind of holy hell would that be?
Right.
So,
have they released toxicology report?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
But that's why I wasn't surprised. There's just some people you kind of go, yeah, I really just was waiting for it to happen.
I mean, you hate to think this way, but it's like, it's terrible to think, oh, I hope the dude just had a heart attack in the hot tub. I mean, that's a terrible way to think, but it's kind of like...
I've thought that, though, with people.
I mean, it's kind of like, I hope he just died of natural causes and it wasn't more scandal heaped upon the poor man, right?
Well, and now they're... For everything you play interviews there was an interview that was, I can't remember how long ago it was recorded. He said he didn't even want to be known for Friends.
Right. I saw that.
I want to be known for, my first thought was, you want to be known for not being able to overcome drug problems. But it's his attempt or him working with other people trying to overcome their drug addiction and everything, which is very, very admirable. Admirable. Which makes it even more sad that if this is what took him out, that he was somebody who probably very successfully worked with other people to get them pulled out, and he was not able to do the same thing for himself. That would be very sad.
Well, I think what people, I don't think people realize this, that over the years, especially if you're a long-term addict, it really wears your body down. It wears the heart down. It wears the stomach lining down. So say you're an alcoholic, it can you can get stomach cancer, any number of secondary illnesses from substance abuse, and
absolutely, because your entire system, your entire body,
right? You're not healthy anymore. So we'll follow back up on Matthew Perry and rest in peace, and my condolences to his family and friends. I'm sure right now the Friends cast is really going through some stuff. They were close. That was a close cast, because I do believe that they just every year they decided as a team whether they were going to keep doing it, the show, and they were strong like that. So
I
yeah. And then another really sad side note is that Richard Mall from Night Court died. And I believe after I told you that, what did you say?
Didn't even know he was still alive. Yeah. I thought he had died with everybody else.
Just terrible. That was Bull from Night Court, and he was awesome. I think his death hurt me a little bit more than Matthew Perry, which is again really terrible to say.
Well, no, it's not terrible to say. Why? I mean, why? Because it's like, one of their deaths hurt me. There are people that I don't know. I don't give a shit that they're dead. It doesn't mean that from just simply being a human, I can't say, wow, that's a very sad, unfortunate story, and I'm sure their families and blah, blah, you know what I mean? You can still empathize and not give a shit. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? That could be a T-shirt.
Well, let's segue on.
I empathize with your problem, yet don't give a shit at the same time.
Well, actually, that's not empathy. That's sympathy. There's a difference between sympathy and empathy.
Sympathy makes sympathy's. No, I know there is a difference, and sympathy means I'm feeling sorry for you, and I'm not saying sympathy. I can empathize, means I can put myself in your shoes, and I can understand what you were going through. But I don't know you, so it still doesn't mean I have to give a shit about you.
But most empaths would say that they feel what that person is going through. So you can't feel what that person is going through and then also not give a shit.
No, you can.
No.
Yes, you can. No. Because you feel it because you've been there. So you're recalling your own past experiences, and so you feel the trauma or the sadness and all that kind of stuff of having somebody, in this case, die. You can feel that, but I don't need to give a shit about their family or anything because I don't know who they are. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not gonna fucking hang up, run my flag up and then bring it back down half staff or set up a little eulogy in my house because of some weird shit.
What an excellent segue to flags, because I have something. Here we go. Yep, here we go. So
Oh my God! Look, I don't have the. This we're going off the fucking rails.
Are we not recording?
We're recording, but I don't have any timer device to keep you in check.
Oh, jeez. Okay, whatever. So I'm driving to your house today, and a large ass truck pulls in front of me with flags a-billin' out behind. And you know, every time you see a flag on hanging off of a Dodge Ram truck, there's a Trump flag on the other side.
Hey, don't blame it on fucking Dodge. They're usually Fords or Chevys.
Well, it was a Dodge today. And so there's the regular flag, and then there is a flag that is very tattered and kind of ripped up. And this flag says, God, guns, Trump.
And I end that with Christ.
So I'm sitting there watching this. I'm like, how long do I have to follow this fucker, right? So,
even the ones that don't have dumb shit like that just simply have an American flag stuck in the back of their pickup. So they're driving down the street with this American flag, furling through the air behind them. It is just, right away that it's like, they're just fucking ignoramuses.
Well,
they're fucking idiots.
I'm not gonna say someone flying the flag isn't a veteran or a patriot or something.
No. Well, I don't give a fuck, because as a patriot and a veteran, if you're that myopic to where it's the flag that gives you the hard on, rather than say, oh, the Constitution of the country. I mean, it's not about the flag. That's the same people that get all bent out of shape about people that burn the flags. Flag burners, flag burners.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a fucking flag. All it is a piece of cloth.
Yeah.
Now, if you were out there burning copies of the Constitution, then I'd probably have a problem with you. But it's the Constitution that is... Everybody that goes into the military, when you raise your hand, you promise to defend the Constitution.
Yeah.
Not a flag.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, why are you flying? Now, you had a little... a bed sheet or two that had like the Constitution printed on it, trailing behind you, then I might have more respect for you.
So there's more to this story here, but I'm getting a little bit, I'm getting a little bit verklempt because of the God guns Trump, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, God don't love Trump. Get God out of this, because he's no God fearing anything. He's not God. No, Trump fearing, so take God off your flag. But then I'm kind of getting worked up, and all of a sudden,
he says it in 2 Corinthians.
All of a sudden, I see it. I see on the back of the truck bed. I see a sticker that says "Who adopted who," and it's in a little paw print, right? And so then I look, and there's...
You were so confused you didn't know what to do. Because you're like, I believe that.
Oh, no. I'm like, oh, he's adopted an animal. And I have some cognitive dissonance now. I'm like, I just said I was annoyed with this guy, and he's getting all worked up. And then all of a sudden I see on the right side of his truck, I love my border collie.
You were like, how am I supposed to hate this guy? I'm supposed to hate him.
So I'm like, okay,
that is a beautiful story.
Wait, maybe he's not that bad. Maybe I should just settle down now here and not worry about it. So.
Well, there are many times you should just settle down, but I'm predicting in this case, yeah, he's that bad.
I love my border. Okay, I just felt like there was just 2 warring factions here. We got in who adopted who. I love my border collie, and then God guns Trump. This is my opening story. Now, you told me you had an opening story. How about we get on?
Well, I have a little opening story.
Oh my Lord, it's typed out. Like, you wrote us a week.
I'm serious about things. No, it's a 2-parter.
Ooh, is it? It's like story time.
So here's the deal. So this goes back to Hot Banana, and I'll know in this case not to cut it because I'll see the verbiage anyway. Because I'm using a new tool to do the video editing, which allows me to edit by text. I told you about this.
Yeah,
so
sure
I can it creates a transcript. Fuck you, I'm the one that does it. You spend 5 fucking hours editing a goddamn podcast, trying to break between a waveform, so you're
hot banana. I don't feel safe.
So your fucking snort isn't too big or something, and I decided, I'm trying to be nice and pull it out. As opposed to you have the software that automatically goes through and creates a transcript of the whole recording And then all I have to do is like read through it real quick, find the pieces that I don't like, cut out the text. And when I cut out the text, then it also cuts out the pieces of the recording. Spot on. So, well, because of that, I can take all that text that's there and dump it as a transcript. And if it was video, I could even make captions out of it because it would be timed right. But anyway, I can dump the transcript. And what I've been trying to do, excuse me, is then load the transcript into Chat GPT and just have it summarize what the whole conversation's about. And one of the problems is that our conversations, they're too long. You can't, you can only copy, like with Chat GPT, you can only paste so much text in before it says your question's too long.
You don't need the AI. You write well.
Shut up.
You don't need the AI.
Well, but then I have to sit there and think about the whole fucking thing and what all did we talk about? Well, it when I was doing it manually and listening to every second of every recording, then I could take little notes and go, oh yeah, that was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. Anyway, so with the text, you read through it, but you just kind of don't pick up on some of the funny stuff the same way because you're not listening to it necessarily. So anyway, there's a couple different chat AIs out there, and one of them I could actually load the whole transcript in, and it was just having a problem getting at what I wanted it to do. But Chat GPT, if I didn't have to use the entire transcript, has no problem with it. It's just the way it's set up right now, and the one that's free that I don't want to pay for, it has a limit on how long your question can be.
Okay.
So, but I did get one where I loaded it in. I guess I can actually give it one more chord there. Where I loaded it in, and it didn't like something about how I loaded it. Because this is the summary. Because then I can take the summary and drop that in with the podcast, rather than doing everything on my own.
Okay.
But here was as I was doing one today. Here's what it came back with for the summary.
Oh boy!
It started out with, "I apologize." So this is the fucking AI. The first thing the AI does is apologize. It says, "I apologize." But it seems that the provided text is a transcript of a podcast conversation that contains a lot of unstructured and unrelated dialogue between the speakers, making it challenging to summarize effectively. If you have
AI told us we suck.
Yep. If you have specific questions about certain aspects or topics discussed in the podcast, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to provide a focused response. That's just, I apologize, but this is full of fucking babble, incoherent babble. Is basically what I was saying. Oh God!
Chat GPT told us we suck.
Yeah. Well, that was this other one, and then the last episode that I just pushed up. Well, a episode that I pushed up today because I put a couple of them up. When I got the Chat GPT thing, where I figured out how to just push up less overall content, and then I'm just going to read a couple sentences because it actually came up pretty good. Because I can actually identify the software that does it shows, like I can identify speaker 1, speaker 2. It understands that there's more than one individual speaking, and so then I can name whoever speaker 1 and speaker 2 is. And so then anything that you read, it'll say Nancy and Scott. Nancy said this, Scott said this, then Nancy, And so when I put it in a Chat GPT, then it comes back with using our names. So one that I threw up today said, in this podcast, the hosts, Nancy and Scott, engage in a casual conversation covering various topics. They start by discussing the popularity of characters like Daryl Dixon and Hayden Christensen in the context of The Walking Dead and Star Wars. Nancy mentions the controversy surrounding Daryl Dixon and The Last of Us, suggesting that some people consider Daryl's character a copycat of the game.
Wow, they really got it. They really nailed that.
The hosts also touch on American Horror Story, double feature, and its similarities to Rosemary's Baby. They mention how Kim Kardashian is part of the show, but not a major character. The conversation then veers towards Hayden Christensen's return to the Star Wars universe, acknowledging how fans have changed their views over the years. The hosts also discuss Star Trek Lower Decks and their enjoyment of the series. They talk about the recent episode, Something Borrowed, Something Green, which focuses on Orion characters, providing new perspective on the Orion species. The hosts seem to have a strong passion for these topics and share their thoughts and insights throughout the conversation.
Well, that's quite alarming. I'm a little nervous for humanity right now.
Because, like, holy shit, right?
Yeah.
That's from our babble. Now,
right.
Depending on how you ask it, if I ask it the right way, that's what we get out of it. If I ask it the wrong way, I get something that starts with, I apologize.
Well,
but it seems these people are unstructured and unrelated dialogue. Isn't that nuts?
I'm going to just say that your write-ups that describe to our listeners what our individual episodes are about are infinitely more funny than that stuff.
And they're meant to be. And I'm probably going to have to. I'll have to figure out a way to still do that because it saves me so much time.
Sure,
to do it the other way around.
It's also really clinical. It's like, it's clinical.
It is. I know. I agree. I mean.
But the fact that the best part of what you just read is the fact that sometimes we can't control our thought process, and it's just all over the place. And AI noticed
a lot of unstructured and unrelated dialogue.
Like a regular. Like a regular conversation.
That is our fucking podcast.
That is all. Yeah.
So
maybe what did they say? Unstructured, and what was the other word they used?
Unrelated.
Unrelated and unstructured. Maybe that should be our new name of our podcast.
Well, we could do like a tagline.
Yeah, we could do like season taglines. This is the season of AI.
Unstructured. We call it you too. Like you with the little two up, squared, right. Like you squared, right. Unstructured and unrelated.
To infinity. Yeah. Well, great. I'm glad you shared that.
So that was just because I just had to laugh my ass off when that I apologize.
So I apologize. We do, listeners, we do apologize a lot. I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize again for whatever you heard today. Just whatever.
Why?
Just
because we just started.
I'm going to say I'm sorry. I'm going to keep saying I'm sorry until the end of time.
Okay, well, we're at the 10-minute mark, so now you got to move in.
So since the I brought up American Horror Story Delicate, let's touch base on that because both of us are caught up.
Touch base.
Its mid-season finale has rolled out already, and I've been waiting for you to catch up on this to see if you were as horrified as I am by a certain moment in that show.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Which moment were you referring to?
Well, I mean, just think about, reflect back on what's happened a little bit and what you noticed about American Horror Story Delicate, and then I'll talk.
I noticed it seems like a ripoff of Rosemary's Baby.
But you never watched Rosemary's Baby.
I watched the sweetened condensed version.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
No, I mean,
it to me, it's more creepy than... I don't even know how to explain it. It's not scary at all. It's just, to me, it feels very creepy. Like the whole thing is like, I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, it gives me that creepy...
Whoa.
Just gives you that creepy, I'm being watched vibe. Mm-hmm. Every episode has done that. Not scary or even...
Well, that's because everybody is in on it. It appears that there's no one in her life that's safe, and everybody's watching her all the time.
Wasn't that what Rosemary's Baby was? Wasn't everybody in on it?
Yeah, everybody's in on it. Well, that's the vibe you're getting. But I really specifically wanted to talk about her noshing on that dead raccoon that she wrapped up in a blanket and brought in the house and is like...
You tell me your thoughts on it.
Well, I'm just like, did you notice that she was eating a dead raccoon?
I did not.
You didn't? What the hell? What? She finds this dead animal outside and she brings it in the house and she takes it down into that basement where nobody seems to know where the hell she is. She's in the basement all the time, and it's just like, why don't you check the basement?
Well, is the basement part of the house?
Yes.
I mean, that house? Because I got a little confused when I thought she was going down. She was still on the house or on the property the first time she went down there, but I couldn't tell because then it seemed like she was meandering through what are they always catacombs or whatever the hell it was. So I couldn't tell if she was actually still technically in the basement of the house or not, because it just seemed like she was doing a lot of walking or crawling or whatever the hell it was before she got to where she was going to still be under the house.
And we still don't know 100% if that's a dream or not, if that's like a dream or a memory or what, but yeah. It's confusing.
Well, we don't know with most of it. Well, yeah, because all the little speaking of time slips.
There's a lot. There's just a lot going on with that show that they never really resolved anything in the mid-season finale either.
Because it probably hadn't planned on being a mid-season finale.
Probably. This is probably a strike thingamajigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I've never known them to do any sort of mid-season anything before. No. So I'm sure this is strike related.
But did you catch the situation with Kim Kardashian was also representing her rival for all these awards, that younger girl?
Well, the first thing I was going to say about Kim Kardashian was she has the right amount of screen time in this TV show. Very little.
Here, I thought she's doing pretty well, actually.
But I think that's because she's not being asked to do any heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Her part's very small, but probably going to be weirdness in the back. But I did not catch that part.
And some people, I can't. How do you miss her macking down on that dead raccoon? I don't know how you missed that.
Oh, it's easy. You just don't watch the episode.
Oh, no. You told me you were caught up.
No, I didn't. You said, since we're caught up, you should do this.
You tricked me. I just
have the one episode to watch, and I've been meaning to get around to it.
Whatever. Okay, fine.
But let's talk about it.
No, I mean...
because because she started seeing images of the raccoon like several episodes before.
Well, she thought it was a real baby.
Is that what it was?
She thought it was a real baby because she was going through that whole thing there for a while where she thought she lost her baby, and then she found this dead raccoon, and
then she's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant again," and everything. Yes, yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that the raccoon seems to be making multiple appearances.
Yeah, it was in a couple episodes.
And why a raccoon? That's the thing that's interesting.
No, I thought it was just a dead trash panda outside.
You trash
it was
pandas.
covered with maggots, and she was like carrying it around. And
maggots are like the one thing in TV and movies that actually make me
get you.
That kind of make me go.
Yeah, well, you don't want to see someone eat them.
I'm never eating rice again.
Oh, you know what it is? It's risotto. I can't eat risotto after looking at maggots.
Why? I mean, risotto doesn't. I mean.
Oh, no, okay. It's not risotto. It's a specific type of pasta.
I mean, because risotto is just kind of looks like rice pudding.
Not really, but
yeah, it does because you cook it and break down the starches, and it kind of makes its own kind of creamy sauce that the rice is in.
Okay, well, anyway, we're going on a little bit more about AHS stuff.
You don't like that tiny little pasta. There's those itty bitty oval shaped pastas. I can't remember what it's called. I love those things.
Is it muesli? I don't know.
No, that's like some
cereal.
That's like cereal for people that can't poop or something. What?
High fiber cereal muesli. Yeah.
No, it is some weird kind of.
I'm sure the muesli is happy to know that they're
orzo.
It's exactly what I was thinking.
I love orzo. Okay. I had orzo a couple weeks ago. It was delicious.
It's not risotto. It's orzo that looks like maggots. I can't do it. I can't handle it.
It like maggots.
Sure does.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so we got a long way to go before we're gonna resolve.
It looks like long grain rice.
It looks like maggots.
You've never seen maggots then in real life.
Yeah, I have.
Because that's not what maggots look like.
I have seen maggots. Yuck.
Okay, so now that we're done talking about your breakfast.
Oh god. Okay.
What's next? Let's talk about something that matters.
Well, first,
because we're 18 minutes.
So we gotta wait a little ways to.
I'm trying to find some more to get
basically American Horror Story delicate to bed.
And I think I actually prefer some fried chicken instead of chicken fried steak.
Chicken fried steak. Let's talk about Lower Decks because for some reason in this Lower Decks episode, the finale tonight that we watched, something triggered me to wanting chicken fried steak, and I can't now for the life of me remember what it was. But I need a chicken fried steak bad with some white gravy.
So
and mashed potatoes.
What you're saying is I need the diabetes blue plate special.
There's meat there. But yeah, I mean, what was it? Was it the bird? It wasn't the bird, was it?
No, and it was early too, the episode.
Yeah, I don't know what they were what there was a deal with. I'm like, I want me some chicken fried steak. Well,
or maybe it was what's his name. Was it when he fluffed his?
Yeah, it might have been when he fluffed his
fluffed his down
up.
or whatever.
Yeah, fluffed his
maybe
down.
Maybe that was it. That might have been it.
Might have been it. I don't know.
Yeah, and you're like,
well, so
I would have thought you kind of gone, ooh, fried chicken.
We watched the final 2 episodes of the season. So the 10th episode called Old Friends, New Planets. The 9th, The Inner Fight. And
that was the final episode. You said final 2 episodes?
Yeah, the final 2 episodes of the season.
Well, we watched 1 tonight.
Well, we watched, but you're
talking about last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
right.
we've got.
Yep.
We find out that all of those aliens that were on the ships that were stolen, they're living down on a kind of a dangerous planet, and they're all fighting with each other. And and Mariner gets down there and starts acting like she has been for the whole season, which is erratic and trying to be the hero and trying to get herself in trouble and get her ass kicked. And
I think it's trying to get herself killed.
Yeah,
is kind of. I mean, that's kind of the way I interpreted it.
Oh, you think she's on a suicide mission?
I think it kind of sort of was, and it's a throwback. I know you didn't watch Voyager, but it's a throwback to an episode where B'Elanna Torres, the Klingon engineer, was doing the exact same thing when she found they got once they got in touch with the Alpha Quadrant and they were able to start sending messages back, and they found out that the Maquis had been basically obliterated and everybody they knew was dead, not necessarily in prison but dead. And so she went on kind of one of these, always going into the holodeck and turning the safeties off, and basically trying to get herself killed. It was very, very much very much like what Mariner was doing.
When you're bringing that up, then compared to what Mariner's doing, is it's probably the concept of survivor guilt. Why am I still alive when my friend, my mentor, who was Bajoran,
I'd buy that.
She's dead, and this other guy's dead. Why wasn't it me? I was part of this mission too, and I survived. So we're looking at survivor's guilt there. But then she starts fighting with a Klingon, and they have to. The planet starts killing them while they're fighting, so they have to go in a cave, and they end up talking, and he kind of sets her straight. He sets her straight. I love that. I absolutely love that about the episode, that it was an outsider and a Klingon that set her straight. And not her mom, not Boimler, not anybody else. All these people have been trying to help her, and they couldn't help her. And this guy was just pretty much, as Klingons do, he said, this person died with honor. What's her name? Serko or
Sito?
Sito, and died with honor. She chose to die, and she chose to fight. She chose to die, and you're not honoring her. And
by being a fucking whiny little bitch, you're actually besmirching everything she stood for.
Yeah.
Very good. Klingons kind of really have their shit together in a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
It was absolutely great. And then
I want to see an episode. I want to see a Star Trek series that has a Klingon counselor.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
A Klingon Deanna Troi.
A Klingon Betazoid combo.
It just doesn't matter what. But I mean the role. A Klingon Deanna Troi.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be a great addition.
Can you imagine somebody? Quit fucking crying.
Yeah,
get out there and
it would be.
Stop being such a pussy and get out there and blah blah.
Well, there are
blah,
some
blah.
counselors like that. I mean, some counselors do not allow you to wallow, so to speak.
And depending upon what you're wallowing about, all you're doing is encourage. If it really is just stupid shit, all you're just encouraging it by hand holding them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people need to be told that they just need to grow the fuck up. Or they just need to get the fuck out of it. Yeah,
I mean, the Klingon, he says, and I quote, "You wage war with yourself."
When we watched that episode, you were like, that was a good line. Well, the writing on this show is fucking fantastic.
As compared to Boimler, ow, I got sticks in my boots.
That was good, but that still wasn't the best quote from Boimler in that episode.
What are you thinking? Teach me how to tap dance, Bev Crusher?
Exactly.
That was a good one.
Oh, you're going to teach me how to tap dance, Bev Crusher? Because it was like a question.
No, we're not going to see Bev Crusher. That was too bad.
That was awesome.
But I mean, they really did a good job with tying in Mariner's issues all season with what was going on. Actually, what was going on.
It was. And I don't know. Oh God, I just thought of that. Just now this clanked in because she even says it in the fucking season, and it just popped into my head. And you were talking about how this relates to survivor's guilt. It was promotion guilt.
Oh yeah, she
is really what it was
guilt.
Because this all stems back to her becoming a lieutenant.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, I don't deserve it." And she tried to give it back. She tried to give the pip to the Klingon.
Mm-hmm.
He gives it back to her and everything. And so I'm not going to say that I don't think it's survivor's guilt that's doing it, but I think the promotion guilt is definitely, and they may be. It might even be as simple as I'm still here to be promoted.
Well, it's
you know what I mean. I'm still alive. Survivor's guilt to be promoted.
I think the
and it'd be a double whammy.
Triggered it.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, the promotion triggered the survivor's guilt.
But I think it's both.
But honestly, we didn't know. The great thing was, one of the things I liked is that we didn't know what was going on until almost the end. It was building. It was building in intensity, and everybody was noticing it, and everybody was talking to her.
Writing on this show is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. It was absolutely fantastic, you bet. Now, the whole Nick Locarno thing.
Locarno.
I, of course...
And he doesn't look at all like Tom Paris.
No, he doesn't look like Tom Paris. that was a great thing, too.
I like the fact that they didn't let it go with just one round. Hey, he looks like Tom Paris.
Yeah.
And then, because if you look, Boimler even squints his eye.
I don't see it.
He squints his eyes.
I don't see it.
And he's even got a Tom Paris plate, if you remember. He's got a commemorative plate. And then have him come back like, conversation too late. What do you mean? He looks identical to him. No, don't say it. I mean, because the thing is, nowhere in Star Trek was it ever addressed that they literally had, a character jump from one series to the other series, the same person, It was never addressed that it was...
Right.
And it's not the first time, because they did the same thing with Tuvok.
Not like they do in the Days of Our Lives. The role of Tom Paris will now be played by...
half a pound of broccoli.
All right. Well...
but they did the same thing with Tuvok. Because Tuvok was in Star Trek... the Big Ribbons in the Sky movie. Ribbons in the Sky.
What?
What was the Ribbons in the Sky? The one where Kirk dies. Generations.
See, that's the only Star Trek movie I haven't seen.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It was the handoff movie,
I never saw the handoff movie.
Oh, my God. Well, anyway, so Tuvok is in that. He's.
I hate Tuvok.
Well, you know what? You're just so racist. Mm-mm. So anyway, he just plays a dude.
Yeah.
A dude with round ears on the bridge of the Enterprise, whatever the hell it was. Enterprise B. And yeah, so he bounced from the movies or movie. Actually, he was in Next Gen. He was part of a group of people that tried to steal the Enterprise.
Oh.
When they went in and parked and had to sweep. They did. Oh my God! I think it was a barium sweep. Am I really remembering? Am I really remembering this? For fuck's sake!
How is this coming into your brain?
Well, because he was in Next Gen, so that was actually first. So he's in Next Gen a little group of like 5 or 6 people that try to literally steal the Enterprise, and so they wait till the Enterprise has to. It's kind of like degaussing, where you remember the old computer monitors? You'd have to hit the degauss button, everything kind of go, and it would shake because it would get rid of extra electrons and stuff. Because as you would use it, shit would build up. Kind of the equivalent of walking across the floor and then getting zapped when you touch some metal.
Have you seen every Star Trek episode like 3 times? Every one of them, all the series.
Probably, yeah.
Oof.
He's in. So it's the Next Gen. So Russ, Tim Russ is part of this group that wants to steal the Enterprise, and they end up getting thwarted by Captain Picard because he finds out Mr. Pickard, because they find out that where they are, there's horse riding. So he goes back onto the Enterprise to get his saddle, because he has his own saddle. But anyway, this group is there, and so Tim Russ is one of the bad guys, and then he ends up in Star Trek. generations, and then he ends up on Voyager.
Okay, well, that was quite a little bit of a side. I wonder what the AI will say about that little side.
What if he didn't pick him up? Hop banana, hop banana,
hello,
hop banana.
what? He'll be like, hello, what? AI might be like, hello, what? Well, so what I got a kick out of was all the references to Nova in this final episode. Nova Squadron.
Because that's what they
Nova
were.
1, Nova Fleet.
Well, because their group, Nova Squadron, is the one that performed or attempted to perform the maneuver that killed one of the cadets in Next Gen.
So Ricardo, when he finally gets revealed to the Cerritos crew, says he's like in the window, and he's like, we are unaligned fleet, the first unaligned fleet in the Alpha Quadrant. And Boimler's like, I think the Maquis would like a word.
I know, it was just so good. The Maquis would like a word.
That was good. We rewound that and listened to that 3 times. That was so great.
Because then he kind of looks over and he smiles too, because he's like, the Maquis would like a word.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like he's looking over to try to even get a fist bump.
Yeah.
You know?
They and then you had to remind me that a lot of shit going down in this episode is similar to Wrath of Khan.
No, I did not say a lot of shit going down.
Well, when they're in the nebula.
I said there's that one where he's chasing Tawny.
Yeah.
And when she goes into that nebula, and it's even the second they go in, as soon as the screen comes up, the music. It's just very... Well,
I'm sure the music is the same.
Right. Well, it was just... it wasn't the same music, but it was just... There were like a couple notes kind of thing, that was the same. And and it's just... And there was... And the color of the nebula...
And the Genesis machine.
And she had the Genesis on it. But I'm just speaking to the ships. The fact that the sound, the music in the background, and the way the ships were kind of... And there was the static on the... The static on the viewer, and they showed the ships, one crossing across the top of the other one, above it and doing that thing.
Well, it's because it's a cat and mouse game. And definitely Ricardo Montalban is the cat.
And it was
Khan is the cat.
And it was like the only 10 minutes of that movie that fucking was any good. So.
Okay. Well, again with our disagreement on Khan. It's
so bad.
But I liked what they did also with Tendi in this. Tendi, I think about this at the end. Tendi sacrifices herself for Mariner. They go to this planet and she has to fight.
She's sacrificing herself for everybody.
She is.
Because Nova Fleet or whatever. He wants...
Well, the Genesis machine.
He wanted to take everybody out.
But I think the greatest part is, Tendi like says, if you give me this basically piece of bolts and nuts.
Well, they didn't know what it was. They said battleship. You give me the battleship.
Give me this big badass battleship, and it doesn't work. And then they decide they have to tow it. The little Federation ship tows this thing to this. What was the name of that wall?
The Trinar.
The wall.
Because it wasn't the binars.
Yeah.
Because if you noticed, there were 3 binars.
Yeah.
Which is not... There's never 3 binars. They're always in pairs.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, is why were there 3 binars?
I'm assuming one died along the way.
I don't know. But if you look, they had... the same thing when Locarno was talking to everybody on the screen... there were 2 binars that were behind him at a station built for 2, a bicycle built for 2.
Yeah.
And then over his left shoulder, there was 1 binar standing there and kind of looking all sad and everything.
What up, binars? What up, binars?
Well, the fact that she can even understand him, too.
She's talking to him a couple of times.
The episode the last episode last week, she's like, I get that. That sucks or whatever. And they're doing their little...
Yeah,
that was funny that she could understand it.
Yeah, so she, it all ends well. I guess, they hurl that big ass Orion battleship into the wall, and it goes down, and they fly in.
Playing captain. You did a great job of playing captain.
Boimler's playing captain. Yeah, it was good. It was definitely a good episode, and Ricardo, the guys, he doesn't. They try to save him though. They do. They try to save him. He dies because
well, he put the shields up.
He was like, he was sure cocky. He was like, I can, what do you think? I can't dismantle a bomb?
Well, yeah, he's like, I graduated top of my class.
And she's like, actually, you didn't graduate.
You get your ass kicked out of the academy.
And then,
that was good. Because when I first heard that, I graduated top of my class. I'm like, he didn't graduate. Yeah,
then the very
next line, I'm like, okay, good. I'm like, they didn't fuck that up.
And then he's almost gonna dismantle it, and he's all cocky, and then the Ferengi say, two bars of Latinum,
2 bars
please.
of Latinum is a lot to be carrying around. I mean, a couple slips I could see.
2 bars of Latinum, please.
Or slips or strips, but bars? Holy shit.
He's like, what?
How's that for nerding out?
What did he say at the end? He said something like, you're going to make it a pay?
Nothing like the Ferengi to put a paywall up.
Yeah.
For taking the bar out. Taking the bomb out.
You're not getting that Uber today.
Was so good.
And then he blows.
That was so good.
Yeah. It was a good episode. It was a good season. I loved everything that they did with the Orions. I
really loved it. That's the second or third. Well, technically it'd be the third. That episode would be the third that Robert McNeil came back to voice. Because I think it was the first season where he actually voiced the plate, if you remember right. Remind me in 10 minutes. So there was whatever reason it was that Boimler was getting that Voyager commemorative plate with Tom Paris on it. Mm-hmm. And because the plate was talking to him. And then, and then something happened. And somebody actually even showed up. And I think that was all in the same episode. So it's kind of surprising this is his third episode he showed up in. And I listened to his podcast because he does a podcast with, now I forget his first name, Wong. Well, anyway, the guy that played Harry Kim.
Oh,
so they do a podcast, which they started with Voyager, and then what they did was they went back and they were rewatching every episode of Voyager, and then doing a review of it, basically. Because a lot of them, I guess you're an actor, you don't necessarily actually end up seeing the episodes,
right?
So they spent the last couple of years doing that, and so the fact that he kept his yep, he didn't have to. But I suppose now that they've aired, I would imagine probably on the next podcast, they'll probably mention something about the fact that he had done it. And I hope they drop this. I hope the actors get done with this horse shit pretty soon because they're replanning their podcast now since they've been through all the episodes. So now they're actually going to do DS9 because neither one of them have ever seen DS9, and DS9 was actually the jumping off point for Voyager. So they're going to start watching all the DS9 episodes from the first one, along with Armin Shimmerman, who plays Quark.
Yeah, I know.
Armin Shimmerman, who plays Quark, which some of our listeners might not have known.
I know.
So don't be such a fucking uppity bitch because they might not know. I'm helping our listeners.
Okay.
All 3 of them that don't know that Armin Shimmerman played Quark. And then, what's her name? That played Jadzia Dax. I can never remember her name. So, but those two are actually going to join them to make it a foursome, basically, for the podcasts. And they're going to
foursome.
like golf. And they're going to do the same thing with all the DS9 episodes. So, but they can't do anything and talk about anything until the strike's over.
Yeah, that sucks.
Because they're all still part of the Actors Guild and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, all that business needs to end. When we hit 2024, I want all that business done. I
tell you, we got the writers done with, what's her name? Oh, Terry Farrell is her name.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. She comes to the Star Trek con every year and does her They have her do her makeup on stage,
which is pretty great considering the fact that she was fired in the second to the last season. And then they brought in somebody else to take her place because it was a contract discrepancy, and evidently she was like one of the forerunners, I guess. The whole Me Too thing, she got Me Too'd as part of it.
They killed her off, right?
But they killed her off because she had been getting Me Too'd, and she was like, "This shit's gonna fucking stop," and blah blah blah. And they finally just said, "Well, you know what? See ya," and they didn't renew her contract for the last year. Yeah. So they killed her off, and then just replaced the so-called symbiote into a new.
I can't honestly, actor. Terry. I can see Terry Farrell standing up for herself. That's for sure. She's amazing.
Yeah, I like her too.
Well, anyway, we have wrapped Star Trek Lower Decks for the season. And I tell you, it's one of those shows that I'm going to be sad that I'm not going to see for a while. Yeah.
Well, they had been working on it. I think that from what I remember, season 5. I mean, everything's been written for season 5 already. So it's really a matter of
just rolling.
Getting actors in there to do, the voice and stuff. Voices, the voice. This is the voice. Anyway.
Oh, and speaking of voices, let's segue over to Loki. And let's talk about Miss Minutes and who.
Okay, how's that with a voice? I'm fine with segueing. I'm the voice. I'm trying. Speaking of voices.
The voice of Miss Minutes. The voice is voiced by Tara Strong. And I kept thinking to myself, how have I heard that name? How have I heard that name? Well, Tara Strong.
She's done a bunch of stuff, but I didn't look it up.
She has. She has done a bunch of stuff, but what resonates for me is she was the voice of Twilight Sparkle on My Little Pony.
Oh, Christ.
And there's 9 seasons of My Little Pony.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody.
It's
been great being with you here tonight. If only we had more to talk to you about, that would be wonderful. But we're going to have to, I think I can actually just dial you back.
No, it's fine.
Segue. Look at that. And now it's Scott. I always want to do a one-man show.
Stop now. Okay, I want my voice back. I want it back.
It's back.
Scott, no, it isn't back. Hot banana. Okay, I'm back.
I told you it was back.
All right. Well, let's talk about Loki. And I wanted to segue, and it was a perfect segue.
Perfect. Then go for it.
No, I did. I just did. So we got a couple episodes of Loki under our belt. We are not. Scott was very confused about whether or not we were on the season finale of Loki, but we're not.
I read the tea leaves wrong. I thought it was the last one.
Wrong. So we have a couple
episodes.
Thank
goodness, because it would have been a dumb fucking season finale.
We have a couple episodes to talk about. We have Heart of the TOA. And that was episode 4, and then we have episode 5, science fiction. And I mean, a lot of timey-wimey shit happened. I'm really not that good with Loki right now. I mean, other than just watching Tom Hiddleston throw his hair back and forth, which never gets old. That never gets old for me. I enjoy it every time.
I just think his eyeballs or something that we got to be about shot. You're not that good with it, you said. What do you mean?
I'm just following what's going on. I'm not that good with it.
Okay.
I mean, I think that in general I understand it, but boy, I don't have every minute of every day down on this show.
I'm in a similar situation to you, but being a man, I've been able to follow it.
Oh, whoa, okay.
But I'm tired of it.
You just got me too'd.
No, you did not.
Yeah, I mean, it's timey-wimey. But the show
I'm just fucking over it because it's all multiverse stuff still, and and you and I have had this conversation. I'm so over the multiverse because I just don't care about them ripping apart multiple universes anymore.
Here's what I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand. So
let me mansplain it to you.
I can't remember which episode it was in, but Loki had at one time left Lady Loki, Sylvie, in the elevator, and he'd got ripped out of time, and she ended up in the 60s McDonald's.
1986.
1980. She ended up in the 1986 McDonald's.
Well, that's where she's been hanging out.
Yeah, but then when he came back and killed himself and he didn't rip himself out of time, and he got her out of the elevator. Technically, she shouldn't have gone back to that McDonald's, but yet she was.
No,
she was back in that McDonald's.
No, she went back to it of her own free will.
Okay, well, whatever.
Because she's got her little arm bracelet. She can bebop around and go wherever else she wants to.
So she just went back.
That's become her home for her. And she's happy there. She's working at McDuck's.
Yeah.
Hanging out. There's the store manager's kid or whatever that's got the hots for her.
She's listening to the Velvet Underground. Which I did enjoy that song they were playing.
I thought it was a really cool song.
What do you know what song that was?
And it went really well with the scene. I can't remember which song it was. I mean, it said it right on the label. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was yeah. So
no, she's there by choice because that's where she wants to be.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And I cannot falter for that. She's so over the multiverse. She's just like me and hanging out at a fucking record store looking for some good vinyl. Yeah, right. I am with her, man. Yeah. I am with her.
Yeah, well, you're not going to sell a lot of records if you're just loaning them out for people to listen to. I just want to add that in there.
Well, no, that's most record stores would have a PlayStation like that where you can listen to the record and decide if you want it, and then you take it. They don't just let you keep coming in night after night listening to it.
In this particular episode in science fiction, they bounced to 1962, branch timeline San Francisco Alcatraz. They were in 2012 New York City, 2022 Cleveland. That was where Mobius was sitting on the Sea-Doo, which was really funny. I like that scene. And 1994 Pasadena, where OB is a science fiction author and has write a book called The Sons of Yoren. Now, Yoren to me is Scandinavian and Norse. Do you think that?
Oh, it totally does.
You think that's related to Asgard in some way? Let's consult the magic box and see what the Sons of Yoren is.
Well, it is a surname.
Surname?
Oh, I don't know. I really got somebody quite. I like what's turned up right away. Yeah, hello.
That's funny.
If you Google Yoren, the first image that comes back is not bad. All right.
Yeah.
Wikipedia, Yoren is a surname. Notable people with the surname include Amit, Hana. Yeah, it's just Yoren imaging.
Well, I'm typing in the Sons of Yoren.
Here.
And on Reddit, it says, I searched for Yoren after the book, Sons of Yoren OB about it.
Yoren Jacobs.
Oh.
President Yoren, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of Tenable.
Yoren, Wiki of Westeros. Yoren is related to Westeros in some way.
I'm kind of thinking Yoren Demont. Yeah. Yoren de Bont.
Well, here it is.
Amsterdam. He's from Amsterdam, Netherlands. Is this music person?
Oh, you're still looking at that guy that you got the hots for?
No, I did a click on it to see, and it goes to SoundCloud, and it says where they're from.
Okay.
It's from Amsterdam, Netherlands. So that gives you your Thor. I mean, it's not Norway, but.
Well, there's all that's coming up here is the character in Game of Thrones. So that's interesting.
There were, they have a lot of characters that kind of have, those Icelandic kind of, or not necessarily Icelandic, but Yoren type names.
When you live in a land of ice and fire, I wonder why. They're going to draw heavily probably from Norse mythology a bit.
Probably.
But, so, I don't know. I'm just this was kind of all over the place, but.
Kind of like the.
Kind of like the show.
The first, kind of like the first summarization that I got. I apologize.
I did like it when OB was holding that cup with the pencils in, and he's like, every friend has a temporal aura, so we got to get them in one place. Got to get all the friends here. And then Mobius shows up, and he's like, Mobius is my space name. That was cute.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, these past two episodes, I'm finding myself just really more and more interested in Miss Minutes and what she's doing. And that to me is like the only thread I can really kind of follow on this show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
it's like an actual thread you can follow.
Yeah, and then she was. It's kind of interesting that she wasn't in this episode. Now, granted, they kind of decompiled her. We don't know what happened last episode. They
took her out of the game.
Well, I thought they were just rebooting her or something is what they were going to be doing. But I'm not sure what the end result is going to be with her. But she's actually like Demerzel in Foundation, where it's the one you don't think is pulling all the strings. That's the other show we haven't revisited for a while.
What show is that?
Foundation.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, me thing too. But there's somebody behind the scenes pulling the strings that you don't expect it to be necessarily. She was,
and Miss Minutes she's the string puller.
She's the villain. She's the villain behind everything. But she was in this final episode, and she was in episode 5 of Science Fiction briefly. She flashes on the screen and says thank you for your service as
Oh,
the
well,
TVA
she was
gets
just,
burned.
she was just part of the...
But she was there. She was there.
Well, I mean, it was kind of like a recording of her.
Yeah.
Just, it wasn't, I would argue that it wasn't her.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
well, you can argue she was,
because if it was her, she'd be like parked there yelling at you and stuff versus,
it was an image of her.
It was like a pre-record, like a recording. That's all.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, I don't know what else to say about Loki other than...
well, he's now figured out how to control his timey-wimey jumps. That's the thing.
He says at the very end of the episode, he says it's not about how, when, where, why. It's about who I can write the story.
Yep.
So he's figured it out. We just don't always figured it out. But he's a god. I mean, we have to remember he's a god.
But he's not a god.
He's a god. Loki's a god.
But he's not. None of them are gods.
Loki is a god. Loki is from Asgard, and
But none of them are gods. I mean, even in this universe of which they are...
He's probably got more powers than Mobius does.
No, I'm just saying they're not gods. They're just advanced beings is all I'm saying.
Aliens.
Yeah.
They're aliens, yeah. Well, and speaking of timey-wimey stuff, we're just realizing earlier this evening that Doctor Who's going to be starting up again pretty soon. And we've been itching to talk about Doctor Who for a while.
Just itching.
We're Whovians. We want to talk about Doctor Who. We want to get one of our buddies in and talk about Doctor Who and have some fun and some good laughs. So hopefully we can make that happen.
And I think we should still bring back one of our other buddies. And would it be too late to have just kind of a roundtable on the whole season 2 of Strange New Worlds? Because we talked about when season 2 wrapped. We talked about having another 3-way.
I don't know. I mean, we can always.
But is it too late to do that? Probably.
I think it might be too late for that. But we can always look to Discovery, one of the final season of Discovery.
Too late.
It's not too late. But
it was too late.
Yeah. We should, I think, have a nice, big, long chat about maybe all the Star Trek movies. I saw, I don't bring Screen Rant up very often, but they put up this really stupid article this week, and it was like, which actor played Captain Kirk best? And I'm like, what? Wait a second here. Because as far as I know, they only have 3. We've got Shatner. We got this newest dude that's playing him on Strange New Worlds. And then we have Chris Pine, right? I'm like, where's the other? So you know what they did? They stuck in the kid that played little boy Shatner on the Chris Pine movie. So they stuck him in as one of the possible actors that played Kirk best.
Yeah, but he didn't play Kirk. I mean, that's like...
I know, isn't that stupid? Yeah. And then they put in a woman that apparently, some alien on one of the original series episodes that jumped into Kirk's body
the last episode of the series.
So it was the stupidest thing ever.
Is this doctor, took over his body... And it's not even Kirk.
I'm like, first of all, that's a stretch. That was a big stretch to put those two cameo actors in.
No, it was actually, it's just flat out stupid.
It was flat out stupid. And of course.
And what was the name of that website you said?
Screen Rant.
Screen Rant.
Yeah, it was Screen Rant.
Yeah,
so.
I understand they're pretty fucked up.
And then for a while there, they weren't letting me access their articles. And then I was getting a little paranoid, like, oh, I suppose they're listening to my podcast. And they're like, she threw us under the bus.
If only. Yeah, like they give a shit. Why weren't they letting you?
One of their writers could stumble on our content.
Yeah, he could stumble on our content.
And he might be inclined to jump onto our Nova fleet. He's like, be an unaligned Maquis.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. Well, yes. Here we are. We're at the end of I don't know. We're at the end of time.
Turnabout Intruder was the last episode of the original series.
And that's the one where this woman jumps into Kirk's body? Oh.
Yep, it's Dr. Janice Lester.
Yeah.
Changes bodies with him. And then tries to take over the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Janice Lister.
Oh, and it's interesting. She must have made a real impression on that writer of the Screen Rant article so that he could like compare her to William Shatner.
Yeah, she wasn't Kirk. See, that's the problem with fucking Screen Rant is the premise of the entire story is, which it sounds as though you agree is who's the best Kirk? Well, she wasn't Kirk. She was impersonating Kirk.
Yeah,
it doesn't make her the best Kirk. And I'm not trying to get all into the story and talk about he wasn't Kirk.
And I mean,
and so it's just as a clown.
How can you?
It's just a stupid.
Also, how can you say that
them.
the child played Captain Kirk best when he wasn't even Captain Kirk? He was James Tiberius.
Prepubescent Kirky.
God, that article made me so mad. And the only reason I clicked on it because I was like, "There's no more than 3 actors."
You're a sucker.
Well,
you're a sucker.
Well, I mean, I got to tell you, I think Chris Pine did a bang up job as Kirk.
He did an amazing job.
I really did.
He touched on things that were Shatner-esque, Shatnerisms.
He did
just enough to be like a touchstone to like bring some of it in to his version of Kirk.
Yeah.
To where you're like you felt like there was a thread. That like connected the two actors.
A little hint of
and
Kirk.
Their portrayal. Little hint of TOS Kirk in his Kirk.
Yeah, a little bit.
He did it perfect. Unlike whoever the fuck it is that got on Strange New Worlds, and that shit show. I still don't know what's going on. Oh, fried chicken. See, I mean that's the way to go.
But I guess I just gotta really dig in and ask myself. What on earth triggered me in a chicken fried steak there? Oh my god!
I don't know. See, they've got these $5 take-home meals. Purchase an entree and take home another meal for just $5.
Is that Olive Garden?
No, it's Cracker Barrel.
Really?
Oh. You're not going to get chicken fried steak at Olive Garden.
Well, yeah, there's Parmigiana chicken. There's like chicken Parmigiana.
You want chicken fried steak because this is chicken fried chicken. I love chicken fried chicken.
Yeah.
But if you want chicken fried steak, you're not going to want chicken Parmesan.
Yeah, you're right. No, I don't know what I mean. It's just weird. Well, anyway, so here we are. I feel like we're kind of at the end. We don't have anything else to talk about.
I think unless it's chicken fried steak, I think we're good.
Yeah, get ourselves some. We need to get done with this and get ourselves some chicken fried steak.
Din-din.
And we cannot have our long drug out ending because we need ourselves some chicken fried steak.
We got to wrap this fucker up.
We do. So thank you, folks, for listening. My name is Nancy. Peace out.
I go by Scott most days. Or Senior Large.
What? You want me to call you El Jefe? El Jefe.
That just means chief or boss. I am the boss. I am El Jefe. So the one with the weird laugh is Nancy, and I'm Scott.
Yeah. We say
thank you
we
for
bid you adieu.
Thank you for spending some time with us.
Yeah.
And we'll look for some au jus.
Au jus to go with our chicken fried steak.
That's what you said.
What is the AI going to say about this?
We bid you au jus.
I think the AI is going to say, I apologize, but they were talking about
meals.
They were talking about truck stop food. They were talking about au jus. They were talking about birds.
They're talking about what people eat in Star Trek.
Right. Oh, the
AI.
AI.
Kids.
Good night.
Thanks for the blast.
That was horrible.
I liked it.
It was worst.
I'm offended.
It was the worst ending ever.
I'm offended.